Welcome back to Wrestling Region CC, your ultimate destination for all things professional wrestling. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to stay updated on all the latest wrestling news, analysis, and exclusive content. Trust me, you won't want to miss what we have coming up next. The wrestling world was left absolutely stunned this past weekend when former WWE Women's Champion AJ Lee made her shocking return to professional wrestling at the independent promotion's marquee event, Wrestlepalooza. After nearly a decade away from the ring, the woman who once declared herself the best wrestler in the world, proved that lightning can indeed strike twice in the same place. Saturday night at the sold-out Veterans Memorial Arena felt like any other independent wrestling show until the main event began to unfold. The crowd of nearly 8,000 fans had already witnessed an incredible card featuring some of the hottest names in independent wrestling, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to transpire. Saturday night at the sold-out Veterans Memorial Arena felt like any other independent wrestling show until the main event began to unfold. The crowd of nearly 8,000 fans had already witnessed an incredible card featuring some of the hottest names in independent wrestling, but nothing could have prepared them for what was about to transpire. The main event was scheduled to be a fatal four-way match for the promotion's Women's Championship, featuring current champion Sarah Storm defending against three of the most formidable challengers in women's wrestling today. What started as a competitive showcase quickly turned into something much more sinister when outside interference began to plague the match. As the referee struggled to maintain control, mysterious figures in black masks surrounded the ring, creating an atmosphere of chaos and confusion. The audience watched in bewilderment as these unknown assailants systematically dismantled each competitor, leaving all four women laid out in the center of the ring. Just when it seemed like the show would end in controversy and disappointment, the arena lights suddenly cut to black. The silence was deafening for what felt like an eternity before a familiar voice echoed through the sound system, a voice that hadn't been heard in a wrestling arena for nearly 10 years. "Did you miss me?" The crowd erupted into absolute pandemonium as AJ Lee's entrance music hit for the first time since 2015. The former three-time WWE Women's Champion emerged from behind the curtain, looking every bit as confident and determined as she did during her legendary run with the company. Dressed in her signature black and yellow gear with a few modern updates, AJ made her way to the ring with the same infectious energy that once captivated audiences worldwide. The reaction from the live crowd was nothing short of electric. Fans who had grown up watching AJ Lee dominate the women's division during Lee's transition period were witnessing history in the making. Social media immediately exploded with hashtags like #AJ Lee returns and #Wrestlepalooza shocker trending worldwide within minutes of her appearance. What followed was a reminder of exactly why AJ Lee is considered one of the most gifted performers of her generation. Rather than immediately diving into physical confrontation, she demonstrated the ring psychology and microphone skills that made her a standout performer during her original run. Standing in the center of the ring surrounded by the aftermath of the mysterious attack, AJ delivered a promo that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. She spoke about her time away from wrestling, the challenges she faced with mental health advocacy, and her journey of self-discovery that ultimately led her back to the squared circle. "I walked away from this business because I needed to find myself outside of these ropes," AJ told the captivated audience. "But what I discovered is that this ring, this art form, this beautiful chaos we call professional wrestling, it's not just what I do, it's who I am." The sincerity in her voice was unmistakable, and even the most cynical wrestling fans found themselves drawn into her narrative. This wasn't just a surprise return for shock value, this was a genuine homecoming from someone who had rediscovered their passion for the business that made them famous. When the action finally began, AJ Lee proved that nearly a decade away from regular competition hadn't diminished her abilities one bit. Her signature offense looked as crisp and impactful as ever, with her devastating Black Widow submission hold drawing massive reactions from the crowd every time she locked it in. But beyond the technical aspects of her performance, it was the emotional storytelling that truly set this return apart. Every move, every facial expression, every interaction with the crowd felt purposeful and meaningful. AJ wasn't just going through the motions of a wrestling match, she was telling the story of someone who had found their way back home. The chemistry she displayed with her opponents was immediately apparent, despite having no prior history with any of the women in the ring. This is the mark of a truly gifted performer, the ability to create instant connections and believable narratives even in unfamiliar circumstances. The wrestling industry's response to AJ Lee's return has been overwhelmingly positive, with current and former wrestlers taking to social media to express their excitement and admiration. Several prominent figures in women's wrestling have already gone on record stating that AJ's return elevates the entire division and brings renewed attention to independent wrestling. Current WWE superstar Bayley tweeted, "Watching AJ Lee back in the ring gave me chills. She paved the way for so many of us, and seeing her doing what she loves again is incredible." Similar sentiments have been echoed by wrestlers across multiple promotions, highlighting the respect AJ has earned throughout the industry. Independent wrestling promoters are undoubtedly scrambling to book AJ for upcoming events, knowing that her presence alone can sell out venues and generate significant buzz for their shows. The business impact of her return extends far beyond just one match at one event. AJ Lee's return comes at a particularly significant time for women's professional wrestling. The division has experienced unprecedented growth and mainstream recognition over the past several years, with female wrestlers headlining major pay-per-view events and receiving equal treatment and screen time. Having someone of AJ's caliber and experience back in the mix adds another layer of legitimacy and star power to an already thriving scene. Her advocacy work outside of wrestling has only enhanced her profile, making her return even more impactful from a cultural standpoint. The ripple effects of this return will likely be felt across the entire wrestling landscape, potentially inspiring other retired performers to consider comebacks while also raising the bar for current competitors who now have to share space with a proven main event talent. Looking ahead, what's next? While details about AJ Lee's future in wrestling remain scarce, the implications of her return are far-reaching. Questions abound about whether this was a one-off appearance or the beginning of a more sustained comeback. Will major promotions come calling? Is she interested in a full-time return to wrestling, or will she be selective about her appearances? What we do know is that AJ Lee has reminded the wrestling world why she was considered one of the most compelling performers of her era. Her combination of technical skill, charismatic personality, and genuine passion for the business created magic at Wrestlepalooza that will be talked about for years to come. The wrestling industry is always at its best when it can surprise its fans, and AJ Lee's return accomplished that in spectacular fashion. For one night, the wrestling world felt a little more unpredictable, a little more exciting, and a little more special. As we continue to process the implications of this shocking return, one thing is certain: AJ Lee proved that great wrestlers never truly lose what makes them special, no matter how much time passes. Welcome back, AJ, the wrestling world is better with you in it. What did you think of AJ Lee's surprise return? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to Wrestling Region CC for more breaking news and analysis from the world of professional wrestling.